Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for today's webinar titled Nurturing Scientific Curiosity, the Role of Research in Your Child's Growth. A very warm welcome to all of you. We are delighted to have you with us. Joining me is our esteemed speaker, Dr. Pooja Bachani. She is an expert in microbiology, bioenergy research, and student mentorship. I am Dr. Niharika Srivastava, Director, Global Research Hub, will be your moderator for the evening, and together we'll explore the incredible world of research and its role in your child's academic and personal growth. Today's webinar will focus on how research nurtures curiosity and build essential skills for success in both academia and life. I'm thrilled to introduce our speaker, Dr. Pooja Bachani. Dr. Pooja is a dedicated geomicrobiologist with extensive experience in microbiology, molecular biology, and bioenergy research. She has mentored countless students in IIT Bombay, IISER Pune, and Amity University. We are fortunate to have her and share her insight with us tonight. Welcome, Dr. Pooja.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Niharika, for the kind introduction and this wonderful opportunity to share my thoughts. It's an absolute honor to be here as an invited speaker and to connect with all of you who are passionate about fostering curiosity and innovation in science.
We are delighted to have you, Dr. Pooja. Thank you so much. Okay,
Thank you
now,
so much.
let me start with a question for all the participants here. Did you know that curiosity is the foundation of every scientific breakthrough? How do you nurture curiosity in any child? Let's hear from Dr. Pooja, her insight into it. Also, I request the participant you can put in your thoughts in the chat box.
There is
So, doc,
no right and wrong here. You can put anything, whatever comes to your mind.
yes, Dr. Pooja,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
over to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Dr. Niharika, I want you to change the slide. Okay. So, I want to pose a question first of all. So, what's most interesting why question? Okay. Your child has asked recently. Not only your child, it can be your neighbor, it can be your nephew, it can be your niece, whosoever. Can you share what's most interesting why question your child has asked recently? Anyone? It could be anyone.
Yes, yes, participants, anyone, any question.
Anyone?
Dr. Pooja, I think let me only start. I am
Yeah,
fortunate, I have a son who's 5 years
yeah,
old,
yeah,
and my son like, always curious, always so other day he asked me why in one I have like a lot of plants in my garden, like in my balcony. So he said why this leaf is yellow color, and why in the same plant, and why this leaf is green color, why there are two different colors of leaf.
yeah,
So I told him that I mean, this is probably this is drying. The yellow one is drying, but the
yeah.
green one is it's very fresh. It's new probably. It's like a
Yes,
baby. The
yes.
yellow one is growing old.
Okay,
Then
okay.
yeah,
So
so
was
yeah,
it
so
satisfied by your answer? Like,
no, definitely not.
okay.
Yeah.
So as you can see in the picture also, children are natural scientists. Okay, they are very curious. They love to explore and ask lot of questions. Okay, but you don't have all the answers, no, Niharika ma'am?
No, believe me, since I am not a biologist by profession,
No,
from
if
my
you're
area of
biologist
research.
also, sometimes
Yeah.
we are also unable to answer everything. Okay.
No, beyond that, I could not answer him. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah,
So, but don't have to have all the answers. So help your child to develop the skills needed to think like a scientist. so which will allow him or her to understand increasing complex science concept. So how can we do that? So ma'am, can you change the slide please? So what can you understand by this picture? Anyone? The left brain and the right brain. So what if I remove left part of my brain or right part of my brain? What will happen?
Is it that, Dr. Pooja? I mean, I like,
Yeah,
I'll start,
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
suppose if I remove, I'm not sure if I'm
yeah.
correct or
Okay,
wrong,
there is no right and wrong.
imagination,
Ah,
if I remove imagination, then probably my analytical thinking, I mean, it will affect, is it something like that? Yeah.
no, it's not the competition between the left brain or the right brain. They both work as partners, but for scientific curiosity, there are three C's we should remember. That is, as you know, the first C belongs to curiosity, as you mentioned. Second is creativity, and third is communication. So, together they enable curiosity to evolve into a meaningful scientific discoveries. So, a balanced use of both the hemisphere empowers innovation and rigorous problem solving in science. So, they are actually not the competitors but the partners working to, spark our curiosity in ourselves.
I think it's a great diagram to explain, such a complex topic in such an easy way.
So if I remove the
Yeah,
right brain, ma'am, here, so
yeah,
you will be
yeah.
only robot. So if you can see analytical thinking, numbers, language, reasoning, logic, science, and math. So
Oh,
if I see history also, na, the great scientists were also an artist. So it's all about imagination. So you can do imagination with your right brain.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. I think it's a great explanation. Thank you so much, Dr. Pooja. And with this, yeah, I mean, as we can see, like Star Wars movies,
yeah,
when it was launched, I think 18 years back, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that AI thing, right? So basically, a producer, I mean, he has made a movie using all, I think there are light,
Imagination,
yeah,
imagination,
imagination, art,
art,
expression.
everything,
Yeah.
everything is used.
Uh, Thank you, Dr. Pooja. Thank you so much for such great insight. So with this, I think, we also have some examples, of great discovery at a young age. So one of the example is, like Shubham Banerjee. So
Oh,
when he was 12 years old, he invented a low-cost braille printer prototype using Lego Mindstorm and using affordable components. And this was one of the popular science greatest invention of the year 2015. And like this, we have another great young scientist that is Gitanjali Rao. She actually invented a Tethys, a 3D printed device using carbon nanotube. She wanted to detect lead in water and send result via Bluetooth. So there's another example, Ria Karumanchi. Now she invented a smart cane, when she was just 14 years old, which actually featured sensors, GPS, cameras, and audio feedback for improved navigation. Now, what I noticed in them, and I was kind of reading about them, that these young innovators, like you said, Dr. Pooja, they began their journey by just asking simple question, why and how
uh,
questions.
yes, yes,
Yeah. So now with this, Dr. Pooja, coming to you.
yeah,
Okay. We just want to understand that, how did you start your journey? When did you start exploring your research journey and what inspired you to begin?
yeah. So, Dr. Neharika, we all know, like while we were growing up, especially me, when I was growing up, I was never exposed to what research truly entailed. Okay, especially the education system often focused on delivering and memorizing, not memorizing the facts rather than encouraging inquiry or exploration. Okay, so there was always a little emphasis on why or how. But let me share my personal story here. So I was in ninth standard, okay, and it was a class of 60, and we had a science practical lab where our teacher had told that you have to prepare a microscopic slide for cheek cells. You know what are cheek cells?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So in the class of 60, teacher had some work, so she went for 15 minutes, but she told that while I come, you all have to prepare the slides. I will see under the microscope. So, all tried and tested. Mine slide from the students of 60 was the only slide which was visible under the microscope with specific cell. And that moment when teacher appreciated my efforts, and where I felt where I can do my research in this field in the lab, I can work in the lab. And that time I realized that appreciation and acknowledgement are must from teacher's side or mentor's side. So basically, I started my research during undergraduation while I was doing my engineering in Jaipur. But where I was able to connect my theoretical knowledge with the practical lab, whatever I was doing. But during my PhD journey, I was lucky enough to get a mentor where she guided me. She was a what to say, very standing very rock hard with me in each and every step. So yeah, the mentor's appreciation, acknowledgement inspired me to do my research. And when I started my PhD journey, let me be very frank, it was not easy at all. My one day my PhD guide called me and she told me, this is the rock, you have to leach out potassium from it. I was thinking how to do. Should I try mechanical? Should I try chemical? Should I try biological? So, there were different tangent to one rock. Layman will think ये तो पत्थर है यार, इसको मैं पिघलाऊं कैसे? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you have to do in a systematic way where where you had to gather evidences and data for that.
And you were
And
able to do that
yeah, yeah.
at an early age. Okay.
Yeah, I was around 23 at that time.
Okay.
22, 20.
Okay. Okay, so what I understand, Dr. Pooja, like, ninth standard, somebody acknowledged you, and
Yeah,
probably, with that acknowledge, you get a push factor, okay, no, I
yes,
can do
yes,
this,
yes,
right?
yes,
And then, in your undergraduate, from a rock to potassium, like, you're
yeah,
pulling out. So I think it's a very interesting journey, you shared with us. So,
yeah,
with this, I just want to ask you, like, that what were, like, every researcher like me also, when I started off my research, so being from a finance domain, so
yeah.
there are some challenges. So what were your challenges you faced at an early age of your research, and how did you overcome this? Yeah,
Oh my
so
God, this is a never-ending topic, but I will
but
highlight.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, sure, sure,
yeah.
sure.
So, you know, uh, my challenges were actually, mm, my challenges were, the techniques we used in our lab were quite different from what I was studying in the literature also. And secondly, data analysis, where I found it's being difficult, and to communicate or to publish my research into international journals was becoming very hard. And how I overcame it was, another question. So troubleshooting issues, like I used to study literature. I used to spend my time reviewing the literature, previous studies to understand common methodologies, and experimental designs in my field. So this helped me learn best practices and avoid common pitfalls. So if somebody is saying me that if you are trying to do this experiment, you will fail. But if it's of 50 people have done around me and it has failed, then only I will believe. If one has done and he has or she has failed, I will not believe, I will again do it. And mentorship, second was mentorship. I sought guidance from experienced researchers and mentors who were willing to walk me through my experimental designs, and their insights were invaluable in shaping the way I approach my experiments. And I started with very small experiment and gradually refined them based on my outcomes. Last point, which is, I find it very important for any researcher and in my journey also. So reframing failure is one of the most important aspect in your research journey. I learned to view setback as learning opportunities rather than as a discouraging experiences. And that streak has, that streak you can see in myself and my personal journey also. So every failed experiment or issue I faced was a chance to learn something new, whether it was about experimental setup or my hypothesis or the techniques I used.
No, I completely agree. And, every researcher, I think they have their journey, and it is, be that from any domain, like, you from biology and I'm from, like, financial analytics, but, these some similar kind of challenges we all face. But I think, Dr. Pooja, the key to this is that, I mean, definitely small steps, be consistent, and, don't be scared of failures, so
Yeah,
I
experiment is all about trial and error. You can't
yeah, so
get in one shot for sure.
exactly. So with this, Dr. Pooja, there's a question, okay, from one of our participant, that
Okay.
what is the right age for taking up research project?
Research project, like what kind of research project he wants to work first of all, and what is his age? It should be age appropriate. Yeah.
Okay.
So he or she can take at the age of 5 years also, if he's willing to. As you only shared, the young scientists at the 14-year-old, they are making sensors, GPS cameras, so you can start very early.
So yeah, actually, the answer is yeah. You can ask, like at very early age. The thing is that just keep on provoking that
Yeah,
curiosity in any
tinkering.
child.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So don't give them an answer immediately. We should, and not even if you don't have, don't dump them with any answer.
yeah.
Just tell them to read, tell them to understand why is this happening.
Hmm.
You get me an answer to that. So
Yeah,
even like right from the 5 years, and as we just saw example, 12 years old kid, and if you read about them, so it like I was just reading the story that how from a Lego basically like he made a printer, and then how this lady Ria, okay, this girl Ria, so how she discovered that at in the year 1920 the smart came. So so the design had not changed since 1920, and she saw a
oh,
lady like she fell down because the stick was not smart enough. So
oh.
then this
So
provoked
there
her
was
that
this gap. Yeah, there was this
yeah,
gap. Yeah, research is all about
exactly,
the gap,
gap
technological gap,
analysis.
the gap analysis. Yeah,
Yeah.
then she worked on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the other girl who worked on the carbon nanotube, actually her parents were actually testing lead in the water, and they were not getting the correct result. So they would always send the water sample in some lab. Then she thought, okay, let me make, at home only. And then she actually discovered. So like this, I think continuous provoking and telling them you come out with a solution, I think is the key. So I absolutely
So,
agree with you,
so,
Dr.
so the
Pooja. Yeah.
second point is, as you told that when can they start? Like it's not about the project. Why don't you see science as a, why can't you connect with the everyday's life processes? Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
the whole world is a lab for a child.
Absolutely, yeah. So, at any age, they can begin. So
Yeah.
that is like the answer. It's just the, I think, the way we provoke them and the way we mentor them
Mm,
right from
yeah.
like, at a tender age. So
Yes.
the another question to you, Dr. Pooja, is
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
with this question, so what advice would you give to parents, who want to encourage their child or maybe
Yes.
any
Yes.
child, any child to take up a research, Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I will again, reiterate this. that cultivate curiosity. Encourage your child to ask questions about the world around them and explore their natural interest, what their interest is. And second, I want to highlight here is foster hands-on learning. So engage children with in experiments. It can be done at home also. DIY projects, outdoor explorations, and celebrate their achievements also. Don't only dump them with the information. Oh, ये तूने क्यों नहीं किया? Why it was not finished on time? So if they have done efforts, also celebrate there. Acknowledge and celebrate small milestone in their learning journey to build their confidence. So this is the main thing I want to highlight here, that celebrate their success, whether they have failed or passed in their exams.
No, absolutely. I think, yeah, I mean, even if they have done a small painting and it's a different kind of a painting or whatever,
Yeah,
I think we should a small clap for them. Wow, you can
yeah,
do it.
yes,
Yeah, and like anything, can be actually appreciated and can be started at home.
yeah.
So I absolutely agree. So with this, to all the participants here, we have a small quiz. So let me make this, webinar even like more interactive with other participants too. So let's have a small round of quiz, and it's like, so all the participants request that, you can type in your answer in the chat box. So the first question is, which skill is mostly associated with scientific research? Is it memorization, critical thinking, or speed reading? Anyone, please feel free to type in your answer in the chat box, please.
Critical thinking, someone has replied.
Okay, critical thinking. The answer is yes, it's critical thinking.
And why
Okay.
they feel so it was critical thinking?
Yeah, please, answer us. It's a very
Why not
interesting question.
memorization and speed reading?
Yes. Any answer to this, to all the participants? Why critical thinking?
Oh,
Dr. Pooja, if you can only like, add into this, why do we say it's critical thinking? Why not
yeah.
memorization and speed reading? Yeah.
Yeah. So, there is a difference between Dr. Neharika, critical thinking and thinking. What do you think? Like, critical thinking is a kind of a thinking in which you question, analyze, and interpret. Means you see a subject in every tangent. Like if you are questioning, so you are analyzing also, interpreting also, evaluating also, and making a judgment about what you read, hear, or write using your all your sensory organs actually.
Uh, Absolutely. I think, yeah, I agree. It is like, finding out a problem statement first of all. Where is the
Yeah,
problem?
yeah,
Yeah, and memorization and speed reading, I understand that. That's also, I mean, to some level part of critical thinking. I won't, but critical thinking, when we say it is, as you said, world is a laboratory. That means, in the world there can be millions of problems, and it is. There are many problems are there, but how can you find solution to that at maybe initially at a smaller level?
hmm.
Yeah. So I think this research, actually any research develops this critical thinking.
So
So
even I want to give a suggestion here. Even when we are asking question, like, so if we ask like, do you have any questions, they tend to reply yes or no, because you have asked that kind. So if what if I want to reframe that? So any questions you can think about XYZ topic. So they will come up with their own question instead of a yes or no.
absolutely. All, the question can also be reframed to some extent that, do you
Yeah,
see that, anything missing in this topic? I mean,
yeah,
which has not been discovered yet. So I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
yeah, so I think this can be like this. I mean, instead of asking any question, yeah, what do you think? Where is the missing factor or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
yeah, so I
even
think
when teachers or professors also, end their session, they are like, "Do you have any questions?" So obviously, students will reply yes or no, but none of the prof or teachers, in our times used to ask, "Do you have any questions around this?"
yeah. No, I mean, yeah, so the traditional system is now changing up. I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah,
not more of course oriented. It should like be more practical oriented,
yes, yes,
and the way NEP is working, I think this is being developed at a good
yes,
pace, So yeah.
yes.
Okay, now, yeah, the next question is that which branch of science is considered the foundation of innovation? Is it biology? Is it physics? Or is it research?
Dr. Niharika, your question is not visible on the PPT actually.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
now is it visible?
yeah, it's visible
Okay,
now.
yeah. Which branch of science is considered the foundation of innovation? Is it biology? Is it physics? Is it research? Anyone, feel free to answer, please. You can put in your answer. Yes.
Research. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely, yes. Research is foundation of any innovation. And with this, Dr. Pooja, we have a question, okay, from
Okay.
Mr. Arjun Kundra. How to
Okay.
find time in a busy school or college schedule for research? I think a very valid question. So please, go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, how to find time?
Yeah, in your
Can
busy
you come
schedule
again?
of how to
Oh,
find time in a busy school or college schedule. Like, students, they go to school, come back by 3:30, 4 o'clock. Again,
ha,
by 5
ha.
o'clock, they'll have them set off their extra classes or coachings. And for college student, they'll come back by 5 o'clock. By the time they come back to the hostel or home, it's 6:30. So, and then they
Yeah.
have their own assignments to do. So like, the question is like, how do you basically balance out the time within this in this routine, time for your research?
Yeah. So first of all, organize your work. Prioritize. If you are really interested in research, at least make a point that you are giving, 2 days for your research work, and make a plan for a day. That's uh, my suggestion for them, like, make a plan for day. It's all about time management. You also have 24 hours. I also have 24 hours only, so you have to plan your day accordingly.
No, absolutely. And I think, so, I mean, to have a good research findings,
Yeah,
consistency is required. So
yeah,
when Dr. Pooja is actually saying, 2 days, so in 2 days, try to at least, have, and depending upon the domain and the area of your research and the topic. So I think I have in 2 days, at least dedicate 4 to 5 hours, like, of doing research. I mean, doing the research work. And another, I think, Dr. Pooja, if you agree to with me, I think every day at least read some already published research paper every day.
yeah,
Don't sleep without even reading any
yeah.
paper.
Reiterate.
Just read,
Yeah,
yeah.
literature
Reading
survey.
literatures, yeah, only just keep on reading literature surveys. So every day, at least just one
Mm,
paper. Initially, it
mm,
takes time, to understand, but with time, the probably the understanding pattern is
mm.
easy, and then you can actually start your research. So every day, I think half an hour, and in a week, I think 2 days,
And one more thing I want to,
yeah,
give them an advice, that realize in your life that everything doesn't need to be perfect. If
yeah.
you're, it can be perfect actually. So focus on what is important.
Exactly. So, and any research, always, I mean, there'll be some error factor. So we cannot have an answer to every question, but at
Mm.
least contribute something in the
Yeah,
existing research. That
yeah,
should be the aim, I think. Yeah.
yes.
So now with this, our third question is, what is the primary benefit of involving students in research early? Improved test scores, development of curiosity and problem solving skills, faster reading skills. Yes, anyone, please?
B. Can students Arun Reddy, sir? Arun Reddy.
Yeah, development of curiosity and problem solving skills. So yes, as Dr. Pooja already explained us that world is a lab. So be curious. I mean, provoke the curiosity in your any student, any child, and tell them that come out with this. Come out with the solution. So any research at an early age definitely developed curiosity and problem solving skills. The next question is, what is one of the biggest advantages of publishing research for a student? So okay, guarantee a scholarship, showcase academic rigor and innovation, increases test scores. Yes, the answer is B, showcase academic rigor and innovation. So, Dr. Pooja, here I just want to one
Yeah.
question, yeah, for you.
Oh,
So
oh,
when
oh.
we say, yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we say publishing research for students, what does according to you, what is research publication? What does it mean? And how does it enhances the profile of any student or any researcher?
Okay. So, what according to me is a research publication, right? So, research publication, according to me, is a formal document where you are able to communicate whatever you had, your ideas in your brain, which are you are bringing in the form of, written format in a layman language, where you are publishing your thing, whatever your idea was, and how whatever you have concluded. It can be anything xyz. In future it may happen, some scientist or some other researchers can prove your hypothesis wrong, or they can also they say that this is a very good conclusion you have came up with, or it's a good hypothesis you have come up with. So research publication, if I give you a analogy, so what do you do when you want to prepare your favorite food? Just tell me the
Yes.
steps.
I actually, first of all, if I don't know the recipe, I mean, if it is favorite, fine. But if I don't know the recipe, I go to
Yeah.
the website, I browse the recipe, I cook. Otherwise, if I don't want to cook, I order from outside. So
Okay. So,
yeah,
first of all, hunger, right? Your hunger,
yeah.
yeah. So hunger is hunger for the research gap. So that would be your aim or goal. Okay. And
Mm,
secondly, the ingredients, the
mm,
materials and methods you want while preparing the food, that are ingredients. Then that the process while you're putting on the gas and everything.
yeah.
So that is the process or method involved in research. And after the dish has been prepared, that is the result. Okay. And then there are your mother-in-law or your mother tasting your food, so they are your reviewers, or
Yeah,
they come for
yeah,
the discussion that this is not the
yeah,
perfect thing you have
yeah.
done for your thing. Then after, if your recipe is awesome, okay, so you would be concluding that 50% of sugar or 50% of salt in xyz recipe is working for me. And you can publish that in a magazine or cookery show. The same way you can publish your research in a, international journal.
I think, beautifully explained, and, no, in fact, no one has ever even explained me like this. Beautiful explanation. So, here we have Mr. Kundan Kumar, so he said that curiosity is the mother of invention. Absolutely, Mr. Kundan Kumar. You know, um, I'm I absolutely agree. And here there's one question, Dr. Pooja here,
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that my school or college doesn't provide any help in publishing research papers. What can I do?
Like,
And also another question with the same person, like from the same person.
yeah,
Even if I write a paper, It won't get published. It won't get any platform. I mean, they don't get any platform to publish. So what can be done in such a situation?
So if you're not getting platform, and I just want to know, is it a financial help they are not getting from the college, or what means he or she, like where she wants to publish the paper?
No,
Is it
that
a
means,
paid journal or is it a free journal? That also matters. So the second thing is, yeah, she can always get a outside help where researchers are working on this. Maybe if she's working on a biotech, she can put a mail to a biotechnologist and tell that I really want a help, where should I publish this research now. Okay, so they can definitely guide you, the mentors around. And as you know, global R hub is also for that they can really help you for publishing your research, because
so
we have
yeah.
different mentors in our global R hub.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely there. I mean, we are always there, but if in school or colleges, if you're not getting any help in publishing research paper, I mean, definitely there are other guidance platforms are there. And plus, as I said, the best help sometimes, the help always starts when you start helping yourself. And how you start helping yourself, that you start reading and identifying some gap, work on it. And I like and publishing the paper on any platform. I mean, there are a set of methodology and some norms to be followed depending upon each requirement. That understanding one should have, I think, before
Yeah,
publishing the paper.
I think Dr. Niharika, we should also have a lecture series on what are the format every journal follows, and sometimes there is a rejection because of our formatting.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So our
So
research is good, but we don't if we don't follow their rules of format, they will reject the paper.
yeah, so every I think and the format actually differs sometimes from domain to domain also. So that understanding someone should have. Also, that there's another question, Dr. Pooja, which is coming. What is happening in biotechnology sector in India, and how can my daughter, who's in 12th standard, get started in this area? What are the future career option that will open up if one pursue research, especially in biotechnology? Yeah.
Okay, so if she wants to, pursue research in biotechnology, she can become a scientist, she can become a professor, she can become a clinical researcher advisory and she can also be a bioinformatician, where we have divided. Now there is a red biotechnology, green biotechnology, white biotechnology, purple biotechnology, and golden biotechnology. So mainly the red stands for medical. Okay. Green
Okay.
stands for agriculture, white stands for industry, and the purple stands for bioinformatics, where Modi ji yesterday announced the
Mm,
Indian Genome Project yesterday itself only. Okay, so that is purple biotechnology, and purple or golden, yeah, golden biotechnology. And purple is about where you work with patent officers and how you file your patent, how can be your patent officer, and how can you help scientists to put forward that patent and how to write your patent. There is a patent office, patent exam also, which covers the purple biotechnology.
okay, so the following this, there's another question from the same
Yeah,
person, Mr.
yeah,
Kundan Kumar, that people
yeah.
are finding vegan leather instead of animal leather from tomato cactus for sustainability. So the question is, can she actually find such type of innovative area for her research work? Can she work on the same domain
Yes, yes, yes. She can.
Okay.
She can. Yeah, she can.
Okay.
She can mail you, and obviously, you can mail me what areas she want to work upon.
Sure,
Right?
sure. So, Mr. Kundan Kumar, please feel free to mail us, her area of interest when you're saying that, leather. I mean, for sustainability, from the sustainability point of view, people are coming up with the sustainable leather. you can actually mail us, and we get back to you on this 100%. And also, there's a very interesting question from a gentleman called Mr. Arjun Kundra. He wants to know that if you can discuss your dissertation topic.
So you want to discuss now, Mr. Arjun?
I mean, in a very brief, this thing, what were your
So, so I,
topic and
I,
findings?
so my dissertation topic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, your dissertation topic. What were your
So my
findings?
Yeah, so my dissertation topic was, on plant tissue culture. Okay. So
Yeah.
I worked on plants. I worked on Jatropha plants for biodiesel purpose. That was my research topic for, and it was around 10 or 11 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and what were your like problem statement, and what did you actually
Yeah.
what were your
So
findings?
So as you know, biofuel is divided into different generation, first generation, second, and it goes up to fourth generation. So I was working on second generation biofuel, where you have to extract from plant biomass. So, we were trying to manipulate Jane and Jatropha plant. And as you know, it's called Ratan Jot also.
Oh,
Ratan Jyot,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, so you extract oil from that, and to amplify that, we usually use plant tissue culture techniques in our lab. So I first, it was very short topic. So first of all, I was not knowing what is plant tissue culture, how it can be done in lab. So that was what I learned during my dissertation study, how to do plant tissue culture of a Jatropha plant.
Okay.
Yeah. And my
Okay.
PhD thesis was also related. It was a very interdisciplinary, where biotechnology acted as a bridge between earth science, or you can call it a geology, and where the application was in agricultural thing, agronomy.
Okay. So Dr. Pooja, we have a number, like, the same
Yeah.
question, like, from our very active participant,
Okay.
Mr. Bharti. Now, like, with this, actually, he's asking, can you give some project ideas in biotechnology, which my daughter she can explore? Any idea, like any latest happening in biotechnology, any area which is being more explored nowadays?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier also, she can work on human genome project also. First of all, she has to work what is genome, what are genes involved, why Modi is working on human genome project. So she can always explore that. This is the latest
Yeah,
trending
I
thing
think
going
I
on the
think it is
internet also.
this was yesterday's news only.
Yeah, yeah,
I think, yeah, yesterday only Modi launched. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Now with this, let's go to our like, okay. Now with this, any other questions
You
from the
can mail
participant,
Dr.
please?
Neharika also if you have any doubts regarding the project.
In fact, if your child is actually interested in doing like project in biotechnology or any other domain, which you feel the child will do well in that domain and he or she likes that domain, so please, you mail the requirement. We can have a one-on-one session with me and Dr. Pooja on this.
Yeah, for sure. And I would love to
Yeah.
do that.
So, I mean, we are fortunate enough, we have Dr. Pooja, who would like to, like, talk in details about the latest happening in biotechnology more, and to give us some good project idea to these young budding, like, researchers and their parents, I think, moreover, that,
Yeah,
what are the areas which can be explored, and like where is the gap, and how can be converted into a project with a good publication, like, So thank you, Thank you, Ms. Bharti, and other participants, and thank you for, like, such come like, I mean, I'm good to see such great questions coming up, and Dr. Pooja for such like good insight. Okay,
thank you.
now,
Thank you for your giving me this wonderful opportunity, actually.
Now, thank you so much. So now with this, now let me briefly introduce Global R Hub, a platform dedicated to empowering students through research opportunities. So at R Hub, we actually offer mentorship, resources, and support to help students excel academically. So our program guides students through structured research processes and even assists in publishing their work in academic journals. So we have four types of program. I mean, four categories of program. That is young scholar for grade 6 to 8, high school scholar program for grade 9 to 12, undergraduate scholar program for freshman to senior, and graduate scholar program for masters, MBAs, and PhDs. So what we offer here at Global R Hub is like, research methodology training, one-on-one research mentorship, global faculty advisors, hand-on learning, and publication opportunities. Now, with this, you can take the first step towards your child's academic success by exploring the opportunities at Global R Hub. You can visit our website for further information. And with this, I would like to open the floor for questions and answers. So please feel free to
Any
put in,
questions? Yeah, any
please,
questions you can think about.
anything related to biotechnology or any other research, any the operation part, anything, please, feel free to ask this question. And you can put your questions in the chat box. So, so Dr. Pooja, there's one question I think for you,
Yeah,
from a gentleman called Arun Reddy, that what are
yeah.
the leading journals in biotechnologies?
Okay. So leading journals depends on what kind of research you are doing, but yeah, Nature is always a leading journal.
Mm. Nature's, yeah.
Yeah, Nature.
How long does it take, an a good, I mean, research paper to get published there in Nature's?
Nature actually, their strictness with the papers are, they follow more than a patent scenario also. So if they don't find the results you are reproducing are not good, they will come to your lab actually and see how the experiment works. Then the reviewer will say yes to your paper in Nature. And I
Oh.
think impact factor, as you know, for Nature is around 50.5, ma'am.
Oh my God, that's really high, huh? So no
So
wonder
that's why
why
it's
do they come
leading.
to your lab and actually test your data and observation. Oh, okay. So generally for a researcher, it must be like, I mean, to get at least 6 months to publish a paper there.
Yeah, yeah. Not 2 to 6 months. Sometimes Nature follows a rigorous process. If they mention 2 to 6 months, they will at least give you a reply. But it can take up to 6 to 8 months also.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's another question, coming up from a
yeah, yeah.
participant. What are the tools and software that are used in research?
What are the?
Tools and softwares that are
Okay.
used in research.
So, what kind of research are you doing? That is also one point.
Uh,
Mainly for the ma'am, Niharika ma'am, you can answer for that, for the data
so
analysis. Yeah,
Okay, so this is the question coming from the same person, Miss
yeah,
Bharti,
yeah.
who was inquiring for her daughter basically. So I'll tell you for generally, we have a standard software called SPSS, Statistical Package for Social
Mm,
Science. That is like, IBM. It's an IBM product. That tool, I think, is. I mean, one should know. Plus. The other tool, I think the software is nowadays R Studio. It's being like, because R Studio actually supports all kind of data, be that time series and be that qualitative analysis or any kind of quantitative analysis, be that univariate, bivariate, multivariate. It is being supported. And for any perception based study, we you have like different tools for, let's suppose, IBM MOS. Now that is for something called structured equationing modeling. So you have various tools depending upon the tools you can decide depending upon your objective and the kind of research methodology you're following. So, that is like these are the tools, which generally, is being used in research.
Basically, if you want to pursue research in any of the domain, nowadays R programming and Python are must. Any.
R and Python, yeah. So generally, when you know R, so Python also kind of
Yeah, it's
goes hand
going.
in hand, becomes easy. But R and Python, yes, the codings you should know nowadays. Yeah, that. And also from the same person, another question is how long would it take for someone to begin a research project in college?
How long, as in like
Like the duration required, to complete a research publication when someone is in
research?
college.
At least it should be, your research should be at least uh, around 3 months, where you carried your research for 3 months. Then only you can publish in a short communication for a short communication.
Dr. Pooja, to add on to this, I think 3 months is for like, maybe for a very exploratory research, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, very basic, we
Very,
call
very
it as
basic. Yeah,
conceptual
yeah.
paper, what we call it in our language, but then
In our language,
for
we also call it a short communication.
short communication, exactly. But to come out with some concrete analysis,
Six.
I think it can go sometime to 6 months also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And in college, so because they have their timetable, they'll come in the evening and then they'll I mean
Hmm.
as you said, everyone has 24 hours. So
Yeah. Yeah.
like after that they need to, but the consistency should be maintained and every day reading one research paper, that should be maintained. Also, there's a question from the gentleman, Mr. Kundan Kumar. What all software knowledge one should have for management finance research? So, okay. So, Mr. Kundan Kumar, I'll answer the question. So, when you say management finance research, right? So, if you see any financial data or any financial analytics, rather, it comes in the time series format. So, when the data is in time series format, so definitely one should know about time series analytics. But it need not be like, that you should know to do finance research. No, it could just start with the basic of any univariate analysis also, or maybe some bivariate analysis also. It can start your begin like to begin your journey. You can start, and then later on you can move to the time series analytics. But let's suppose nowadays, like if you see the recent publications, many reviewers are actually are like accepting mixed research. Yes, yes. Am I correct, Dr. Pooja?
Yes, yes.
So
They are
yeah,
more into interdisciplinary one
exactly.
instead
So
of,
it is,
physics,
yeah.
biochemistry.
Hmm. So it is not that we should know a tool or something. It is like the combination of these tools and all this statistical tools, and I mean knowledge. Okay, you should be able to combine this and I mean to come up with a new finding. So when I say mixed research, it's a blend of qualitative and quantitative. So imagine in qualitative also, you need to actually do some reliability test and some data testing. So a content, you need to actually quantify that and do it. So that I think also, I mean, skills are required nowadays to have a very good publication. So, and it actually increases the authenticity of your research and the reliability of your data, right? So. Okay, and the next question is from a gentleman, Mr. Arun Reddy. Is access to a lab required to do a research project in biotechnology? Yes, Dr.
So,
Pooja.
Mr. Arun, there is two domain as I mentioned. There is one biotechnology which covers wet lab, and there is bioinformatics which covers dry lab. So obviously, you can do a research in bioinformatics for sure. It's not
Okay,
necessary that you will be needing a lab every time.
okay. Also, I think the same question, I think again the question is coming from Mr. Kundan Kumar. I'm asking for the software. The software, yes, SPSS, R, and Python we should know. And if it is a psychological based study, then I think one should know this IBM MOS, which actually gives a very good path analysis, confirmatory factor analysis, basically for all the psychological studies.
Hmm.
So yeah, so this is the answer to this. Also, there's a question from a gentleman called Mr. Abhishek Jaiswal. Suppose someone does not reach the outcome that he hoped for after completing a long research project, then what does he do? He would think all the time and energy is wasted.
Your question is good. Actually, is being practical, but but the thing is, the literature survey, whatever you have done, XYZ, obviously you will be doing a literature survey, right? So obviously you can publish a review paper from that, and it would have more impact than your research publication also.
Yes, so Mr. Abhishek, I think, yeah, literature analysis gives you, the answer to many of your question that if it's a longitudinal study, what we call it. So longitudinal and every study is prone to error. We cannot avoid errors. So when we actually, the idea is to minimize the error in every research. And how do you do that? With simple thing, when you have more data, sometime in a new research, right, you don't have data. The error would be more, but how do you justify your research? That becomes a challenge for every researcher. So therein, like, expert comments or literature analysis really help. And this, I think, to a large extent, I faced this problem when I was doing my PhD. So it was on carbon credits, which was very new, very at a nascent stage, in India. We didn't have the data, nothing. I mean, I didn't get the primary data, neither the secondary data. But then I interviewed people, whatever data were there online, and then I extracted from different reports, and and it was accepted in a very good journal because I was able to justify that. So, okay. Also, another question coming up is that how does one avoid plagiarism and make sure that the references are in correct format in a research paper?
So there are many software for plagiarism, and
Actually,
format, maybe format can be, you can verify what your journal wants. So you can format your references according to the format given by the journal.
And I think with this also another thing to add on to this is that whenever you are when you start your research, see the latest publication in a particular journal, the latest volume, what format they have followed,
Yes.
and probably the same format even you can follow, so that there's no plagiarism problem and there's no format problem basically, and the references style what they
Basically,
follow.
your chances of, I feel so, personally, I feel so, that your chances of publication gets higher when you are citing their journal paper into your research.
Actually, yes, yes. So you cite that other journal also. So yeah, so this
Cross
is one, yeah.
citation. Yeah.
Yeah, cross citation we call it, yeah. Okay, there's another question. Okay, so from one of a very active participant, Miss Bharti, where does India stand in terms of investment in R&D compared to other countries?
Oh, that's. I will not answer that, Miss Bharati, because that's a very political thing which we would bring on. But Dr. Neharika, you want to add something to here?
No, so okay, so I think no, I understand when we say R&D, still India is at a very nascent stage, but I'm happy for the fact that, there are initiatives like new education policies, which if you see the program
NHS.
how it is being designed, yeah, it is actually being designed with an objective that, the creativity and the curiosity is nurtured in a child at a young age. So we
Hmm.
have started, honestly, talking about, I don't know about you, Dr. Pooja, I came across the first research paper when I was in, I think, masters, and that too in the last year of masters. Yeah, I think
What
so.
are the
And my
leading
first,
research institutes in India? Bharti has again asked me.
yeah, so what are the leading research institutes in India? So when you say leading research institute, is it, I mean, it could be domain wise. For biotechnology, please, Mr. Pooja?
Mainly IITs, CSIRs. CSIR has 36 labs all over Pan India. ICAR, ICMRs. So CSIR is Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. IITs, as you know, and Indian Institute of Technologies. ICMR, as you know, and there are ICER also, Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, and all of them are working on different kind of domain. Specifically, it should be your interest in which domain you want to work on. There are very good research institutes in India itself.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, okay, another question is how long does it take for a paper to be published in your domain, like in biotechnology?
Oh, oh, it's like you know, it happens sometimes that if there are no revisions, then it will be published in 3 to 4 months, and if it's coming in minor revision, if it's coming in major revision, it can take up to 6 to 8 months.
Any other questions from the participants, please? Okay. So I think, with this, I think we have come to an end of the session. I'm so happy to see, like, such active participation, such good question coming from our participant. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you all for attending the session, and I hope you found it insightful and inspiring. Yeah. Yes, Dr. Pooja.
Yeah, so
Hello.
I was just telling, if they have any questions regarding anything from now onwards, they can mail you.
Please, and if anyone wants to have a, like, I mean, any kind of interaction, especially for biotechnology, we can arrange a session for you with Dr. Pooja. So do mail us, drop in with your inquiries. So it would be we'll arrange a separate session for you, a one-on-one session for you, for all of
Yeah.
you. So, and we actually look forward to you, all of you, for to have a one-on-one interaction. So So let's, I think, here we are at the end of the session. So thank you so much for joining us, all the participants. Thank you so much. And thank you, a special thanks to, Dr. Pooja. Thank you for your time. Thank you taking out time.
Thank you, Dr. Niharika, so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dr. Pooja. Thank you, Dr. Niharika.
yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah.